Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and these are the LEGO Lord of the Rings Brickheadz. There's a total of 6 Brickheadz here that are being released in 3 different sets. The sets are Frodo and Gollum, Aragorn and Arwen, and then finally Gandalf and the Balrog. These sets were sent to me early by the LEGO group through the LEGO Master Network, but of course all opinions expressed in this video are my own. I decided to put all these into one video instead of spreading it out across 3, because it just makes more sense that way. But anyway, yeah, let's just get started. Let's take a look at each of these one by one. So we'll start with Frodo and Gollum. This is set 40630. It contains 184 pieces, and will retail for $14.99 when it officially releases on January 1st. Starting with Frodo, I think this one's actually pretty great. He's got a new printed part for a shred at the front, and I think that was definitely necessary here, and improves the overall build. In terms of his accessory, he has a sword in one hand, and then of course the ring in the other. That's the same ring from the original Lord of the Rings line, still being used here, which is nice to see. The hair is obviously very well designed, as always. Expertly sculpted, and I especially love the stud at the top above the ear, just to show that it's like popping out a little bit more. And then the cape around the back is really cool too. I love the way it flows. I feel like this one is immediately recognizable as Frodo, so as far as Brickheadz go, this is pretty well done. Then moving to Gollum, this is one of the worst Brickheadz I have ever seen in my entire life. When you think about Gollum, right, what are his defining traits? He's small, he's balding, he's wrinkly, he's got those big blue eyes, and he's got really messed up teeth. Or at least that's what comes to my mind. Taking a look at this figure, very little of that's here. They have his hair, okay, they have his hair, and obviously he's small, but without that hair print, this would literally just be a weird looking baby. That's all there is here. Even Funko, which I'm very critical of Funko just as a brand, at least knew to give Gollum a mouth because that's important. Without that, this doesn't look like Gollum. So in my opinion, this is one of the worst Brickheadz I have ever seen. The hair print is cool, but there needed to be more than that. This guy desperately needed some sort of like wrinkle printing, or mouth printing preferably, or at the very least give him blue eyes, like that would have been something. But yeah, this is just a nothing build to me. This is so bad in my opinion. I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments, do you think this is good? Because yeah, even having it in hand, this is not any better. This is just baby with fish and hair. This is not Gollum. Now moving to Arwen and Aragorn, this is set 40632. There's a total of 261 pieces between the two of them, and the set will retail for $19.99 when it releases. Starting with Aragorn, this might be the best figure of this entire line. He gets 2 new printed pieces, one on his torso and one for like his little crown right here. I also really love the way they did his beard. It comes out ever so slightly from behind the rest of his face, just gives him an extra bit of dimension, and I think that does look very cool. He carries the same sword that Frodo does, and has a very similar cape around the back, which also just looks amazing the way that just flows. Hair is once again incredible, and I love the way they did the crown around the top, and even the top of the hair looks good too. No accessory on the other hand, which is fine. But yeah, this is another one that's immediately recognizable as who it's supposed to be. So once again, as far as Brickheadz go, fairly solid all around. Then Arwen is alright. I think she could be better. I think the biggest negative of this is just the dress looks very plain. Not like her dress was super detailed in the movie, but I don't know, some texture here would have been nice. Even a printed part just to have some like folds in it would have been cool. Because I look at this and I just think of like Marge Simpson, just the plain solid green dress. I don't know, the fact that it makes up most of her body, not the biggest fan of that. The touch of silver at the top though is nice to see, and the printed crown piece on her once again is very cool. There's a little bit of hair printed too, and then the crown that wraps around is still good, not nearly as good as Aragorn though. So yeah, she's an okay one. Not a build I'm super hyped about, but I guess it's fine for what they were going for. And then finally, coming to Gandalf and the Balrog, these two are part of set 40631, and between the two of them contain 348 pieces, and will once again retail for $19.99 in the US once they release. The Gandalf Brickhead is built really well because he is immediately recognizable. That hair especially is super cool, the way it comes down from the bottom of the hat. That is just so perfectly done, and like the little hood hanging out the back too, and the way the cloak comes all the way down. For a Brickhead, that sculpting is especially impressive. The beard helps make his face look more unique too, and the hat, while it is a little flat, I think works well enough. However, he contains a total of 0 new printed parts, so it would have been nice to get something here. He definitely doesn't need them, but it would have made this figure feel a little more special if he had it. And then in terms of accessories, he just has a staff as well as that same sword that the other figures had. So once again, I think this is a good one. The sculpting especially is very impressive, and the character is immediately recognizable, which is important in a Brickhead, but I don't have a ton else to say on it. And then finally we come to the Balrog, which I know a lot of people did not like, but personally this is my favorite of all the different Lord of the Rings Brickheads. Aragorn's probably the best one, but this one is my personal favorite. Because he's just so goofy. Taking the Balrog, which is this like ominous and cool creature, and turning him into a goofy Brickhead is exactly what I want from Brickhead. Because here they didn't really compromise on detail. Unlike Gollum, where they just removed all of his identifiable features, this still is very clearly the Balrog. Is it a cutesy version of the Balrog? For sure. But it's still so unique and breaks the Brickhead's formula so much, with like the horns coming out of the side, the wings at the back, and it even has a tail. I absolutely love how this build looks. Now the Balrog did get a new printed eyepiece. He has orange eyes here, which obviously fit him perfectly. In terms of accessories, he just holds like a little minifigure whip, which is very funny. That's such a hilarious way of representing that, but it fits perfectly here. And then he just has fire hair cascading up from his legs at the bottom. He was given a mouth, which does significantly help this figure. And then he does have wings at the back, which can actually be articulated. Move him forward, move him back. So there's actually some posability you could get here, which is not common for a Brickhead. Same thing with the tail back here. This looks pretty good, and you can pose it to give him more like expression and personality. And then the fiery design, like at the back of the head and at the top, I think is actually really well done with all the different colors used, especially like the trans red. I think this is a fantastic build all around. Is it the perfect LEGO Balrog? No, of course not. But for a Brickheadz version of a Balrog, this is everything I could ever ask for. It might even be one of my favorite Brickheads ever just because of how unique it is. I am very, very satisfied with this build. So there you go. There is all 6 Lord of the Rings Brickheads, which are releasing on January 1st, 2023. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these. Personally, I'm just not the biggest Brickheads fan in the world. It's just not my theme. But LEGO offered to send these to me, so I thought, yeah, might as well take a look at them. And having them in hand, they're a mixed bag. There's 4 pretty standard Brickheads where they range from like average to good. Like Gandalf and Aragorn are fairly good for Brickheads, but at the end of the day, they are still Brickheads. Gollum, in my opinion, is an example of the very worst Brickheads, where they get rid of all of a character's iconic features and make them completely unrecognizable. While the Balrog is the absolute opposite, it is only using the Brickheads art style in the broadest of terms, while in reality it's more just a cutesy version of the Balrog, which I absolutely adore. But of course, those are just my thoughts. You guys have to let me know what you guys think of these in the comments below. Are you planning on picking any of these up, or are you gonna wait and see if we get any minifigure scale Lord of the Rings sets? In case you've missed, I've done a bunch of other early 2023 LEGO reviews over the past few days, so make sure to go check them out if you haven't yet, and there's lots more coming very, very soon. But as for this video, I think it's about gonna do it, so thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!